Picture standing at a major crossroads in your life. Maybe it's a career pivot, a big move, or a major financial investment. You want to make the right choice, so you start mapping out the possibilities. But instead of clarity, the paths keep dividing. Every scenario you imagine spawns three more variables, trade-offs, and potential pitfalls. Before long, you aren't moving forward at all. You are completely frozen in place. It is easy to assume that a highly capable brain would cleanly solve these problems, but research shows that a high cognitive capacity doesn't automatically prevent overthinking. Frequently, it is the exact engine driving it. An analytical mind is exceptionally good at anticipating long-term consequences and noticing subtle hidden risks. In an uncertain situation, this ability essentially builds a massive, infinitely expanding decision tree of what-ifs. Psychologists separate self-focused thought into two distinct categories. The first is reflection, or productive thinking. This is a targeted process that asks, what does this situation need right now? And results in a concrete action or decision. The second is rumination. This is the endless loop that asks unanswerable questions like, what if I make the wrong choice? And spins in circles without ever shipping a result. Your overthinking functions as a biological survival engine spinning in a vacuum. It consumes immense cognitive resources, preparing for scenarios that will never actually occur. Combine that sensitive threat detection hardware with the modern world's infinite stream of data, and you get a perfect recipe for analysis paralysis. We are constantly flooded with reviews, metrics, and endless alternatives. Back in 1970, writer Alvin Toffler predicted this exact dilemma. He warned that as society accelerated and options multiplied, people would soon suffer from a paralyzing surfeit of choice. This bar chart illustrates the famous jam study, proving exactly how this happens. When researchers set up a tasting booth with 24 flavors of jam, only 3% of customers actually bought a jar. But when they reduced the display to just 6 flavors, nearly a third of the customers made a purchase. The human brain has a strictly limited working memory. Every additional option you consider adds cognitive weight. Evaluate too many features, outcomes, and risks, and the system literally overheats. We tend to assume that gathering more information will eventually make the correct path obvious. Instead, it exhausts our mental resources until the brain gives up and defaults to making no decision at all. This exhaustion is especially common for a specific type of thinker, the maximizer. A maximizer feels a compulsive need to examine every possible alternative, terrified of committing until they are certain they found the absolute flawless choice. Nobel laureate Herbert Simon defined this behavior, contrasting maximizers with what he called satisficers. Satisficers establish their criteria, and the moment they find an option meeting those standards, something simply good enough, they make the call and move on. For the highly analytical mind, endless research isn't always about being thorough. It acts as an emotional defense mechanism. By gathering more data, you trick yourself into feeling productive, while actually just hiding from the fear of making a mistake. A sharp intellect doesn't make you immune to emotional reasoning. Often, it just means you are highly skilled at constructing sophisticated, logical-sounding rationalizations for your own anxieties. When you're stuck in this loop, you are likely trapped in a specific brain circuit called the default mode network, or DMN. This network handles our internal narrative, our mental time travel, and threat prediction. In overthinkers, the DMN becomes hyperactive. It runs scenarios on repeat, draining your energy, and then interprets the sheer physical exhaustion of worrying as false proof that you are doing hard, productive work. The relentless quest for the perfect choice is simply an illusion of control. It masks a deep psychological discomfort with ambiguity, shielding us from the reality that no amount of thinking can perfectly predict the future. To escape this trap, we have to accept a difficult truth. More reasoning does not automatically equal better reasoning. This chart shows diminishing returns in decision-making. Initially, as you gather information, decision quality improves, reaching an optimal point. But past that threshold, excess data creates cognitive strain. The quality of the decision actually drops, replaced by confusion and anxiety. Some uncertainty simply cannot be mapped out in your head. You can only resolve it by acting, collapsing the endless wave of possibilities into a single reality, and then dealing with the real-world feedback. So how do you actually force action?
First, set strict decision deadlines. Time box your initial research, and when the timer rings, you must instantly commit. This forcefully cuts power to the DMN's infinite loop. Second, categorize your risks. Separate the choices that are easily reversible, like trying a new software tool, from truly permanent ones. Spend your analytical energy only where the stakes actually demand it. Jeff Bezos uses a highly effective heuristic for this. He argues that waiting for 90% of the information to make a decision means you are moving too slowly. You have to learn to act on 70% and correct your course along the way. Third, you must regularly audit your thought loop. Ask yourself, am I uncovering new, actionable data right now, or am I just repeating known fears? If it's the latter, the analysis phase is over. Smart thinking requires the wisdom to identify when you have enough information to commit. Past that point, more analysis adds friction to the journey. True intelligence doesn't mean eliminating every ounce of risk before you take a step. It means trusting your own ability to adapt, learn, and survive after your foot hits the ground. If you found these insights helpful, subscribe to ThinkShift for more psychology-backed strategies to optimize your mind, improve your decisions, and keep moving forward.